all over, all over the world.
Hello and welcome to another costume review. Though it's definitely going to be a smaller one because, yeah, there's not going to be anything really in the deep dive to say. And there won't be too much of a review of the review, like pros and cons either, because honestly it's kind of basic as well. But you're about to see, even though actually you already know what it looks like a little bit because it's in the thumbnail. But yes, if you were not paying attention to that, we're going to be looking at an inflatable gargoyle. I think I said that a bit wrong. It is technically, what is it? Is it a French word? I think it's, if I remember rightly, it's a French word. But anyways, gargoyle, which, like I said, I'm probably pronouncing it a bit wrong. It's not every day I've ever said that word. Anyways, let me shoot it on. Right, here it is. Yes, it is a very unique inflatable kind of costume, where you're not really wearing the gargoyle. It just inflates around you and sort of just, you know, fuck you. It's a very cleanly inflatable. It's not one of those costumes where you actually get in. It's just like, you know, kind of like a accessory kind of costume sort of design. I have seen quite a lot of DIY gargoyle costumes in my day, but an inflatable one, not really. No. They are not really existent. I don't know why costume makers don't do something like this, or, you know, an actual other gargoyle costume which is inflatable. But yeah, this one, like I said, the feet, it's all like attached, so you kind of have to like loop around it. Actually, I don't know why I'm telling you that, because I'm going to reveal right now the reason you're not going to see in my video description. I'm going to move it over here. The reason you're not going to see it in my video description of where to buy this is because one of those items that were like sold and it was sort of a scam item, because I will get to where it isn't quite what it was advertised. This was only up for sale for maybe about, I don't know, like 3 to 5 months, somewhere around there. So yeah, this costume, yeah, doesn't even need me to wear it either. It can just inflate, and you can kind of just have it as a Halloween decoration in your lawn or something like that, if you can secure it anyways from blowing away off in the wind. But yeah, it can just fully inflate without me even being wrapped around in its arms at all. It can just hang around and bounce around, I guess. But anyways, with this costume, and this is the only kind of deep dive you're going to get in this costume review, with this costume, it was falsely advertised that it was going to have a whole different like design, and like the arms you could like attach or detach, but you know, they're like fully attached, so you can't take them off, they're part of it. It was also going to have like a zipper, so you can access the fan and the battery box easily. It didn't come with that. No. It so didn't come with that they have decided we're going to use the elastic band. Say, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, I'm getting a bit scammed. It's not the exact same product as I've bought, basically. You know, it doesn't look like, it barely resembles what it was meant to look like. And I think I still have the original photo of that on my hard drive. If not, then I don't know, but if I do, I'll show it just to show you what it was going to be like. But because of that, right? But because of that, I was like, okay, I can get to the fan and all that, but how do I keep the air stuck inside of it? And then this is where I thought, alright, maybe, just maybe, they've changed the design where you put your arm through it. So basically you got one arm in and you can like maybe pocket it with one arm. It was probably going to be maybe my first ever puppetable costume that I ever bought, I will admit, if it was, which it wasn't. Because, yeah, the elastic band that is like right, oh, I don't know how to, yeah, it's like here, it's like right here, on this bit of the costume. That is so large that I think you might have to be kind of like a beast level of like weight in your arm and stuff like that, you know, like the super beast that you see on like the American like a beast kind of shows, right? You kind of have to be like that size for it to actually work out like that. So that wasn't very well planned at all. So you might be asking, how have I managed to still inflate this even though it's very poorly designed in terms of actually getting it to inflate? That is because I'm going to try and super glue that hole shut, and that's what I've been doing. Every time I want to inflate it, I basically apply super glue on it, keep it shut, wait for it to really like dry away, because of course, you know, once I put the fan on, it's going to start like really like getting like a super glue like, you know, like huffy smell in the air, and I guess slightly getting a little high, maybe. I'm not so sure if that can happen, but still you can really smell the super glue. So I'll give it a bit and then I inflate it. I am like quite disappointed with him. You know, it's like this could have been a awesome, and I mean a spectacular inflatable costume ever for my collection, because I bought this around, I think it was 2014. So yeah, it has been in my collection for a while, and I have been, well, I really wanted to show this off sooner, but things kept not getting into the place where it's like, oh, I've missed Halloween, or like I'm doing other videos this Halloween and I don't have time to do it. So I will admit that this was a long time to show you, but like I said, regardless, when this was like sold, it didn't sell for very long and then it disappeared. And as far as I'm aware, right, yeah, I don't think it's ever been documented, ever been filmed before. And as far as I'm aware, I have seen one picture online, and I mean one photo. So as far as I'm aware, me and only one other person ever owns this. This is how undersold this was, and the company never labelled exactly who was making it. It was actually quite a blank promotional cardboard piece that just said Inflatable Gargoyle with a beaver on it. That's like a beaver like character, and that was it. There was no name of who it was by or anything. It was just there. So like I said, this is probably a super rare costume now. Anyways, to wrap up this section, I'll give you a little twirl of it. As you can see, you got the eyes. It's got like a little horn up here. Got another like nostril. It's meant to be like the nostril. I think it's meant to be a bit more outwards, but it doesn't. Whatever, it works. You know, it works. Got like green like eye, as you know. Got the horns, and then you got the big wings, and that's also roughly where the fan is, just under that. Yep. And then the hands are a bit quite simple. They're kind of nummy. They kind of remind me of those green inflatable alien little things with its little hands and like leg design. I mean feet design. But yeah, that is the Inflatable Gargoyle. And hopefully you enjoyed this bit. Now we're going to go to the little quick review section of what I rate this costume, which, as you can probably predict from what I've been saying during this segment, is not going to be good, because it was basically a scam item where it's like I said, I was conned into what exactly it was going to be like, and it's like I said, it's not quite exactly what it was. But I'm going to just say this right now, I am kind of still happy I have this, you know. It's like, it's not I'm not like super angry, but I was close to like, yeah. anyways, anyways, let's go to that review section. The pros of this costume. This is one of the only few mass kind of consumer inflatable cargo costumes ever made. There might have been another one, but I've never known of it. Like I said, this is the only one I've ever known to ever exist. Ever since the inflatable costume came around, all these inflatable costumes started to pop up. Like, this is really the only one ever made so far in terms of, just gargoyles. Another pro is, well, it's got its unique style design of a costume wrapping around you rather than, you wrapping around it. Or, well, in another way to say it, of like, you getting inside of the inflatable costume and wearing, like, wearing it like that. And wearing it like that. And well, that's all the pros I have for this costume to speak on. The cons of this costume, though, I can definitely say that this costume has quite a utterly rubbish design choice that also makes this unusable because of its choices, how it was designed, unless you find a way to shut the hole and of course be able to still open it afterwards to get the batteries and stuff out if you wanna, which is what I've done. But yeah, you need to find a way. Otherwise, it is just useless and it would never inflate otherwise unless you figure that out. However you're gonna do it, you might just do it myself, do it like how I did it, I suppose. But yeah, like I said, it's pretty useless stock wise, in with no tinkering at all. And as you even saw, at least once or twice in this recording, I might have cut the rest out. This is past Fluffy here. Anyways, doing this, it is easily slidable around you. It doesn't stay in place, so it can like move in the way and get in your way. It really does need like some sort of like anchor mechanism to like make sure it stays a bit more in place, like maybe like a belt or something. Had it could have had to deal with that, so it's less of that. The next con remark I have for this is it does have a lack of any detailing on this gargoyle. Like, for example, the mouth, it's got like none. It's just this stubby mouth that juts out from, of course, the face where the eyes are. It's just like the snout of the creature, but there's no like something to suggest where the mouth, like I said, ends or begins. And well, other than like the eyes and like a bit of like a nose, a bit of nose detail at the top and a bit of a horn, a little bit of like a little stubby horn on the forehead of the suit. Yeah, there really isn't any like detailing. It really is, it really is that kind of bland where adding details could have done wonders for this suit. And the last thing I got to say is this costume can get a little choky with you if you're not careful. And I don't mean it's gonna like really try to kill you. It's not that dangerous, but it's still like if you bend forward or backwards at the right angle and all that. Yeah, when the arms rise up above your shoulders and you do that, it can kind of cause a small like choking, like choking around your neck force onto you. Like I said, not too deadly, but it can still happen if you're just not careful, and it definitely has happened to me a few times by wearing this. Like I said, it's not something that's gonna kill me, but I guess if you had a much more wider neck than me, maybe it might be a bit worse of an experience. Now for the final score of this costume, I am going to give it a 2 out of 10. If it wasn't for it being quite of a unique, different spin on an inflatable costume, yes, this very well could have gotten like a 1 out of 10 to be, well, basically the second ever costume I would have given that score out to. Because I have given out a 1 out of 10 before, only once. This costume could have been the second time doing it. But as I've already quickly mentioned, yes, it was mainly saved by its different use case in terms of like, because it basically stood out from pretty much tons and tons and tons of inflatable costumes out there. If it wasn't for that, it definitely would have got a 1 out of 10, but because it's quite different in its, design, it managed to just get another extra little point of like, yeah, it's not that terrible, but it still is bad because, as you know, 2 out of 10 score, not a great score at all. Anyways, that's going to be the end of this video. Hope to see you in whatever video that may be. And yeah, goodbye. Can you not?